No way. After almost 5 years, they give me back supernatural life? I can't believe it. I'm going to have to give you a video. Isn't it funny that they're talking about going to the moon again and doing all of this stuff? And they said that they've, sent a probe to Mars, but we really haven't sent any people. And there's no colonies on any of these things. And yet they seem to not be able to do that. And they've lost all the film of going to the moon, and they said they lost the trajectory. They don't know how to do it. Everything's lost. So they're still trying to go to the moon. NASA is still trying to send people there. There's billions of dollars a day that is spent by NASA from the taxpayer money to go to the moon, that nothing has been done. And it's really interesting that they think that they can go to the moon, okay, because we will believe what they have to say. And it's really interesting that when they did go, like in the 60s, they were able to talk instantly back and forth from the White House to the moon. And yet I have a hard time in little places when I'm driving where my phone gets kicked out. What happened to that technology? I want that technology, because we do not have that technology even today that can do such a thing that they could do back in 1969. So I'm wondering about all of that. And then I looked into, the Van Allen belt. This is like a real issue, right? Because you get up there and it's so hot. It will burn up anything that we have. The numbers that they give you for the heat of Van Allen belt is crazy. And then they got this, pressure from the outer space, right? They say that the pounds of pressure. And then somebody was doing a video and they were going through this, because there's some really smart people that are looking into this stuff. And they showed that even that, how Tesla is up there. He's got his little car up there, and it's supposed to be in that. There was no way, if they go by the numbers of pressure, that car would be able to be there like that and just float around. Like the tires would burst and the car would crash. And they have this one huge building, right? I'm not sure where it is, whether it's at NASA, but they got lots of different facilities, right? Because they're doing a whole lot of stuff other than going to the moon. I'm just saying, with that amount of money, they're doing a lot of stuff. Anyways, and they have had anybody who wants to go in there and try it, like how you can do it with a spacesuit, right? How you can go out with a spacesuit that has zippers on it and holes. There's just no way for us to make something that's completely, unless they were in a bubble, and they're not in a bubble. They're in a spacesuit that has zippers. You get what I'm saying? Everything. Nobody will go into this pressurized tank that's supposed to be like after you get out of the Van Allen belt, but yet or even in low Earth orbit that they talk about. It's interesting when you start going through the facts and you go to the numbers that they try to, I love it how they go into the numbers of millions of miles. Can we even do that? Do we even understand that concept of billions and stuff like that? Billions of years ago. Do we even have a concept in math that can even calculate that to show that we've actually even understand what that even means? The time periods that they try to give us. It's, you question everything, guys. There's so much about the moon landing that is highly suspicious in my books, in my mind. And if they can't go out, what in the heck are they doing? If we really live in this flat plane, and which has mountains and curves and stuff like that, and has a dome over it like an ice wall. And we are now living in the flood world where really only the tops of mountains are showing. And we know this because of all of the hundreds of cities under the coastline and outside. Like, in the beginning when we were all looking at Google, it's 808. I'm going to look that up in a minute. When we were, in the beginning, maps showed a lot, and then they came in there. They had people going in there to black everything out so you couldn't see. But we've got enough evidence. People have got enough evidence to be able to see what really was there, that we are just living in the tips of the mountains because we're still in a flood world. But anyways, we have a dome around us, right? So we seem to not be able to get out. And what is that moon in the first place? Is it even real? Because the scientists, the whole scientific community came up just like a year or so before they went to the moon, before NASA said that they were, or the president said that they were going to go to the moon, said that they thought it was plasma. And then next thing you know, like a year or so later, they're going to the moon. So anyways, that's what the scientists thought. So what really is the moon? But is there land beyond our flat plane, Terra Rossa, with the dome over it that seems to keep our atmosphere and allows life to live the way it does and shape the way it does? Could there be other? There are some maps that show that we are only in a small portion. One of the things that they did, which is a really good clue, when they used to make maps, sometimes they would use the moon as a reference to landmass. Why were they doing that? What really is the moon? And could that be the answer to what our realm really is? Because there are those. There's this one guy that he went and took a map of what they say, and he was able to show the Earth as being in one of the craters. So it's called Crater Moon. Go check it out. Crater Earth, I think it's called. Yeah, Crater Earth. Go check it out. There should be a number of videos you'll be able to find on Crater Earth. And yet then he was able to map up other craters showing that these were Mars, Venus, Jupiter. Basically, we're in a sea, we're in an ocean with pieces of land that stick up, and we are only in one little bubble, according to Crater Earth. So anyways, that's my thinking right now about NASA. Do I think that... Oh, I want to say too, why is it that they can go to the moon and Mars, but they can't go to the bottom of the ocean? Like you would think, with all of those problems about leaving our atmosphere in the Van Halen belt, it would be easier to have equipment that could walk on the bottom of every piece of ocean that we have and to be able to go into the deepest of Antarctic. But yet, it's interesting to think about all that stuff. Anyways, have a good day.